I'm going to talk about the drawbar on this machine a little bit. A lot of times people will put an attachment on the back with the 3-point hitch, and they're using the drawbar to raise and lower the attachment, right? So they're going to use, this is the drawbar here. This actually goes up and down, and is really what's going to raise the attachment off the ground, and it's going to lower it on the ground. A lot of times people put a heavy brush hog on the back, and when they go to lower the brush hog, they don't have it adjusted properly on the speed for the up and down. So what will happen is the attachment will either not want to come down very quick, or it'll come down too quick, and it will, you know, perhaps like hit the ground too hard, and that could damage the attachment and do other things, especially if you've got something underneath there and the blades, blades underneath there are turning, right? So the way you adjust this is, and this is 9 times out of 10, if you've got a machine that you haven't used in a long time, and you haven't ever turned this knob in a long time, it's going to be seized, right? So the first thing is you're going to want to get the speed of the down part of the drawbar set up properly for the weight of the attachment, and that's what this is for. So if you go, I'll show it kind of a little closer here. You can see a turtle on the right and a rabbit on the left, right? So if you turn this thing clockwise, it's going to come down slower. If you turn this thing counterclockwise, it's going to come down quicker. And what I mean by coming down is when you release the drawbar, right? So you're going to use the drawbar controller over here to go forward. It's going to be down. And that's really what we're talking about here. So when you do that, those arms in the back that I showed you, the drawbar is going to come down. And if there's a lot of weight on that, it could come down too quickly. So I'm going to put that back in the up position. That's fully up. But that's what this adjustment here is for, just underneath the seat in between your legs. So a lot of people don't really know it's there, and the other part they don't understand is what it does. So that's what that does. Now let's say that is seized up and you can't turn this left or right. This is something that is not moving. You go to turn it and it's seized. You can unseize these really, really easily, and they do seize up really very commonly on these machines if you don't use them that much. What you can do is you pull this plastic off, and then you can get to the back of the shaft easier. On this shaft that goes into the arm. I'm gonna take a pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. So let's say you can't turn this lever, right, or this dial, right? So you really want to be able to get to the shaft that sits behind this knob. What you're gonna do is take off the plastic here, and so obviously it's a little bit of work to get that plastic off, especially if you've got the nicer seat, which has got all the rivets on it and stuff like that. So what you can do before you do all that is you can try to work it back and forth. The way to get these unstuck is you work them back and forth, a lot like this. And eventually they'll go further and further, and eventually you can turn them, right? That's what you want to do when you unseize these. You don't want to force it though, because what you will do is you'll break this knob right off the shaft. The knob is plastic, the shaft is steel. This knob will snap right off, and then you're really stuck, because you got to buy a new knob basically, and you don't want to have to do that. So if you do this a lot, left and right, and you really can't make any progress by freeing it up because it's just too frozen, what you're going to have to do is pull this off, this plastic, and you're going to put a pair of vice grips on the shaft. Put the vice grips about 2 inches back behind the knob, not touching the housing of the rocker shaft area, but take the vice grips on it, and then use the vice grips on the shaft, doing the same thing, left and right, a lot, and then eventually that shaft will become unstuck, and then you can turn it all the way either direction. You want to turn it all the way down and then back it all the way off a few times. That will get you back to where you want to be, where you can actually use this functionality. And that's pretty much it. I have seen these frozen a lot. Like almost every machine you get, these will be frozen up unless the previous owners used this control, once every couple of months. It just gets seized up. It's a very common thing to seize. So easy to undo. You just got to know how to do it. Okay, I hope that helps.